Hi there, welcome to Isle Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Leo energy, and we're going to read it from a couple different perspectives because people are kind of at different emotional maturity levels and have learned different lessons in life, and we either take action out of being enlightened to the truth, that offering love to the situation, treating other people like we like to be treated, being just, being fair. Some people haven't learned those lessons yet. And shadowy Leo would be people who maybe try to manipulate and control people to get them to do what they want. Try to tempt people in their ego, in their lust, in their greed, in their codependency, in their fear, to try to get them to work together with them. And long term, that isn't a good plan. But some people haven't learned that yet. Because people can put up with kind of bullshit for a while or a long time. But, eventually people aren't going to want to keep putting up with that behavior. And some people, really are just more self-motivated of how it benefits them. And eventually other people kind of realize the truth of that. So, how people are moving forward right now, the decisions that they're making are going to be different, and we're going to look at it from those different points of view. And this might be something particular that maybe people who are a Leo sun sign or have significant Leo placements deal with in their life, or are currently dealing with in their life, but we all tap into Leo energy, so then in turn it can influence all of us. So high vibe energy and high vibe Leo is being authentic, being loving, not trying to manipulate and control people, and they're going to harness this energy differently. So let's see what it has to say. The overarching reason for the reading is the Two of Swords, which is either listening to your intuition or you kind of aren't listening to your intuition. And our intuition was given to us as a gift to help us navigate in this world, because with the Moon card here in the Death, sometimes our intuition is trying to tell us that some of the things that we've been in, or that people who want to be in a relationship with us, they're not operating from love. They're not wanting us to love and believe in ourselves. Maybe because they don't love and believe in themselves, and they have put an end to having their more creative, inspired nature and listening to their intuition, and then they in turn want to stop other people from doing that. So you'll stay in friendship or relationship or stay at that job. And high vibe people do listen to their intuition and have learned to listen to their intuition. Pride comes before the fall. Leo energy. In our ego, we can think, no, I'm sure this will work out fine. And we ignore our intuition, and we kind of get in some more mismatched relationships, and it probably doesn't turn out the way we want. And some people have learned that. Now they are listening to their intuition about different people in their life. At the heart of the reading, and the Two of Swords is Libra energy, everybody can have different ideas of what they think is just and fair, and maybe what makes them feel stable and secure and grounded within themselves and how they like to live their life. And in the Knight of Pentacles and Virgo energy, again, it can be what people's truth is. Just like the Two of Swords of Libra can be about what people's truth is. Everybody has their truth, and that's what they're going to invest their time, energy, and effort into. And we need to listen to our intuition about what people's long-term goals are and what they're ultimately motivated by. In high vibe, it's truth and love. But for other people, it's more something about them or the ego or the image or being indulged or something. And it's more of a self-focus or a worldly focus. But, of course, if you're a little more self-focused or worldly focused about the ego or the image or being indulged, you're going to try to hide the fact that you're not motivated and inspired by love in the Death card. And we need to listen to our intuition about who's who. So, we start out with the Hermit card, which is also Virgo energy. Some people, again, are trying to hide the truth that they feel stuck. They're trying to hide the truth that they have these illusions about what it means to be in a relationship, and maybe that they're kind of immature, and maybe not very connected in with their emotions, maybe intimidating or controlling or superficial or shallow. But of course, they don't want people to know that. So other people are listening, have experienced people like that, and they've learned these lessons. In the Knight of Pentacles, that pentacle can mean I have learned lessons in life. I have already dealt with people in my past who are immature. And the Page of Pentacles can represent all three of the earth signs, that where some people in their earth sign energy of Virgo, Capricorn, and Taurus, they're much more aligned with operating from this more worldly viewpoint of life, where the other people in all three of their earth signs, they've kind of learned lessons from these experiences in their past, and they've grown and matured themselves, and they're more interested in being inspired to listen to their intuition and to free themselves from the past and their more immature worldly nature, because I've already been there and done that. We all grow up in the world. We're all initially pretty motivated and inspired for the first 30, 40 years of our life to make our life about all these things in the world that we are sure will make us happy. and we want to go indulge in this, and we want to go indulge in that, and we want to manifest these certain things. And some people, while they went through that phase of life, they kind of learned these lessons about, got help them get more clear about what their truth is. You know, we come in contact with all these different people. We go on these journeys in life to learn these lessons to help us get more clear about what our truth is and our truth isn't. And while some people became more clear about, I need to grow up and mature myself. If I keep repeating these old patterns and hiding from the truth where I do need to heal and grow and mature myself, and maybe get out of my more immature nature, my more codependent nature, my more prideful or defensive or whatever nature, I have a dream, and my dream's not going to come into reality. I can't just keep hiding from the truth of seeing where I need to grow and heal and mature myself. So they did it. And the Ten of Wands in Sagittarius energy can be about higher learning and education and philosophy, and Virgo can be about self-introspection. I don't want to keep repeating a certain pattern forever all my life, just like I don't want to stay 21 forever. We all can have some fears and insecurities and some truths within ourselves that kind of overwhelm us and make us feel stuck. Well, instead of saying, no, 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 I don't got to deal with that stuff, I can just ignore it, that would be choosing to align with your ego nature. Some people said, I went through some experiences in life, kind of made me feel overwhelmed, made me feel stuck. I want to free myself from those things. So I am going to invest some time, energy, and effort, that's Virgo energy, into these things that are kind of buried beneath the surface. And my fears and my insecurities, the moon can talk about all those things. I want to emotionally detach. That's high vibe death card of Scorpio. I want to work through those things that overwhelm me. I want to work through things that make me feel stuck. I want to grow up and heal and mature myself. When did I give up in the Page of Wands having my more hopeful, believing spirit? Why do I stay in friendships and relationships or live my life a certain way when if I keep doing things a certain way and it keeps ending up that I feel like maybe I'm putting in all the work and effort and feeling stuck, or I might be someone who tries to offer other people love and encouragement, which is great, but do we get in a more involved relationship with them than we should? And then we get in more mismatched relationships where we harness all these energies differently. One person is interested and inspired to heal and grow and mature themselves, and then we get in a relationship with someone who's not. And they're happy continuing to do life the way they've done it. I don't want to listen to my intuition. I don't want to invest time, energy, and effort to look at things I keep hidden in the dark. I don't want to change. The death card talks about death and transformation. I see, I periodically look at the things of how I've lived my life, and I kind of look at what are the good building blocks and what aren't such good building blocks. And I see which ones are the good ones to take with me and which are the ones I need to emotionally detach from. Because Scorpio, like Pisces, is emotional water sign energy. And so I also want to invest in connecting in with my emotions, my intuition, and the Three of Pentacles in Capricorn, shadowy Capricorns represented by the devil. I want to free myself from things that manipulate me. I don't want to keep repeating certain patterns. Why am I not facing my fears, investing in facing my fears to work through them? I need to wrap my brain around this game of life. There's some things that are keeping me stuck. I want to free myself from things that manipulate me so that I can go have this new beginning. And so the tens can also talk about closing out an old cycle. But we can always move away from something. But did we emotionally do the work to emotionally come to a place of peace about it? And some people did that work. They've reconciled themselves, the Six of Cups, like the Death card is Scorpio energy. Some people, again, go through these phases of life. They kind of see, well, gee, something's not seeming to be right here. I've kind of been in a job, relationship, friendship, something, lived my life a certain way. And it can even be that my more creative, inspired nature is telling me, we've kind of learned everything we needed to learn there. We could keep doing this if we wanted, but we might do it more out of our fear of detaching from an old way of living life or viewing life to move forward in life a little differently. But in order to authentically move forward in life a little differently, I have to change. I have to do this work within myself to to free myself from a way of viewing myself, way of viewing the world, what I believe is possible. I need to work through some past pain, heartbreak, self-limiting beliefs. Then I truly have worked through some of those things that keep me stuck. And maybe it is I had this way of living life or viewing life. And at every stage of life, when we have lessons to learn, so we move forward. And then are we willing to listen to our intuition if we're moving forward in something that, oh, wait a minute, at any time we go down a path of life, when we realize, oops, wait, I don't think this is the right path. Something's wrong here. It just really seems to be overwhelming. Did I not listen to my intuition back here because I was really motivated and inspired by something? And I thought it would be a good idea. Scorpio energy is exploring the mysteries of life and kind of going on the roller coaster. I'm willing to go listen to my intuition, but I could have the intuition I should go get a new job. But just because I go get a new job, if something about that new job doesn't seem right, am I too stubborn or prideful or fearful to get out of it? Or do I say, wait a minute, I don't know that I want to keep moving forward in that. Something doesn't seem right. My intuition is telling me that I should not go down this path. Well, are we willing to put an end to going down that path? Let that, whatever that opportunity was, let it move on. And then we take this time to self-reflect about what is my truth. I know I might not want to go back to an old job that I had, but, and maybe while I'm thinking of this doesn't seem right, and I could maybe communicate my truth, the pentacles could talk about communicating, the wands and the swords can be about communicating. I could always hopefully, we don't want to feel like we weren't forthcoming. That's like high vibe Leo. I have a problem about something, I'm kind of confused. That can be the moon card. I thought we were moving forward like this, but it kind of seems like where I thought it was going and where you thought it was going is kind of different. Or you might feel like people created an illusion that really what people could have said, you should come be my friend, date me, marry me, take this job. But then when you do, it's kind of like, uh, I kind of feel like maybe you created an illusion, that what I thought we were going to manifest and give birth to and how we were going to work together. And I thought we were going to work together cooperatively. That's the three of Pentacles. And so the way we can interpret the Three of Pentacles is people can get in friendships or relationships and they're hopeful of like this new beginning and how their kind of long-term view of how they are inspired to move forward. And hopefully everybody though has their idea of what they think is just and fair. But we move forward working together with people, and I have my truth, you have your truth, and then the third pentacle is like what we're trying to manifest together. And somewhere along the way, it could be like, wait a minute. Are we trying to manifest the same thing? And in high vibe, again, it would be, I thought we both were going to do work together cooperatively, that we both have learned some of these lessons from the past, that we have both grown and matured ourselves, and we're both ready to move forward differently. And that's where you kind of detach from, if I had been in a relationship with someone, it's not to go into another relationship and it's like, oh, we're supposed to do it just like that relationship. Well, this is a new relationship. You're working with different people. Those people have their own unique traits, characteristics, long-term goals and aspirations that could be different from the last people that you worked with or were in a relationship, right? But some people, it's always more about their truth. And it's like, well, I might have taken another job, I might have gotten another friendship or relationship, but I kind of have this illusion about what it means to work together with people. And I just want to keep doing it the way I've always done it. So kind of more that hopeful, believing spirit of the pages is that, and especially the Page of Pentacles, is that I am willing to be a student of life. I know that, not everybody's the same. Everybody is different. It's about working together with people. But it should be, if it's romantic, it should be based on love. And that's a lesson some people never learned, because some people don't want to see the truth that they need to connect more in with their emotions. And some people are like, that's not my truth. I'm still in two minds about doing that. And I might not want to see the truth that it should be being connected in with my emotions and having that more hopeful, believing spirit from love when I get in a relationship with people. So there's some people that don't hide that they want the Six of Cups in Scorpio can mean I have this way of interacting with people in a relationship, and I want to stay in denial of the truth that I really don't want to let my more hopeful, believing, authentic, loving nature out to play in the world. I try to use these things of the world and kind of use shadowy Scorpio that anyone can harness as like, I'm kind of more stay on the surface of my emotions, and I kind of use them in a more emotionally shallow, superficial way. Like, I use my emotions manipulatively, I use my sexuality manipulatively, I use my things of the world, and I'm kind of operating from this more worldly, egoic nature of self, which in our ego can be just our more self-protective, defensive nature. I do not let my more hopeful, believing, loving nature out to play. My ego nature runs my life. And other people that they've been in friendship or relationship with saw the truth of it, and those people moved on because they didn't want to be in a relationship with someone where it is more about creating an illusion that it's love, but it's not really. Can they be loving and encouraging and supportive kind of in the relationship? Yeah. But they don't want to ever detach from their more egoic, self-protective nature. So the relationship itself, which I view as high vibe Leo, doesn't grow and mature and become a more deep, meaningful relationship over time. Because they don't kind of work through these issues that manipulate them. And so they keep having this way of living life, and that's how they want to keep doing it, which is fine if they get in a relationship with someone else who doesn't want to more connect in with their emotions and is more willing to be in a relationship because, I want to be in a relationship to be in a relationship. It could look stable, it could look secure in Leo energy, it could look victorious and successful in a lot of ways. I don't really want to do a deep, meaningful relationship either. And maybe I'm just kind of immature, and I still think if we make our life more about these things of the world, the status, the ego, or the image, or indulging in a certain way of life or certain things, we'll be happy. And that is how they view life. And that's fine. Everybody, different strokes for different folks. It's just that if they try to get in a relationship with someone who does have more hope and faith and belief and love and does want more deep, meaningful relationships and has kind of grown up and matured themselves and isn't more shadowy, Sagittarius can be that people just are more immature and they're really caught up in the illusion, or they're really codependent, or they're intimidating or controlling, and they have all these things and ways about them that they don't even want to see the truth of. But other people can see the truth, and other people decide, you could be like 35, but you act like you have the emotional maturity of like an 18 or a 21-year-old. I want to be in relationships with people who've kind of learned some of the same lessons I've learned. And some people will never change how. Some people, it can always be of making their life a shadowy Knight of Pentacles, male or female, can be my long-term goal is to be in a relationship or a marriage, maybe to look like I've healed from the past, to make it look like I've healed and grown and matured myself, to look like I have what other people have in the world. But it's more about what can be more important to them, maybe living more from their mind than their heart, is isn't life all about creating this illusion about how victorious and successful and wonderful your life is? But it's all kind of more of a mental construct instead of really just going with the flow and really getting in career fields that you love and being in friendships and relationships with people you love. It's like, oh no, I can't really do what I'd really like to do. The most important thing is to have a certain status or image in the world, isn't it? So there's going to be some people who keep moving forward in life like that because they are so caught up, unawakened to the truth. The opposite of the moon is the sun. And so, really caught up in themselves, indulging themselves, or their more immature nature, or whatever shadowy traits and characteristics they have, which can just be it being more about themselves, or caught up in the world. That's the most important thing, right? And it's like, and other people, high vibe Virgo, high vibe Knight of Pentacles, and high vibe Sagittarius is about seeing through the illusion, seeing through the things that manipulate you, seeing how your past pain and heartbreak, your fears, your insecurities, other people in your life, your ego, your immature nature, how all of those things can stop you from living your more authentic life. And in high vibe energy, I'm not trying to hurt anyone. I'm going to go out in the world treating other people the way I like to be treated. I'm going to treat people in a just and fair way. I'm going to be authentic. I'm going to be loving and encouraging and supportive of people, and I want to work together with other people who are in that energy. Some people just aren't willing to be more authentically themselves, because that's part of learning lessons in life, feeling comfortable within yourself to, and then high vibe Libra can feel like being balanced within yourself and kind of at peace within yourself, that everybody has free will. I'm going to go out in the highest energy of all, treating other people the way I like to be treated, not trying to manipulate people, not trying to control people, not trying to. I'm going to let people be who they want to be. I'm going to treat them the way I like to be treated. If that's their truth, they'll probably move forward with me and we'll be friends. And if that's not their truth, they won't. And they have their free will and their truth, and they can live their life the way they want. And other people, it can be, oh no, I got to act this way and I got to do these things and I got to do those things because I want those people to like me. But why? Why aren't you just being more authentically yourself, treating them the way you like to be treated, and let them make their free will decision? And it can be because they're more codependent, is what the pages can be. I'm not more confident within myself to willing, and high vibe energy is, and high vibe Virgo is to be more independent in the world. No, no, no. I need them to like me. And we all want people to be in friendship and relationship with, but are we being authentically ourselves? If we're not being authentically ourselves, there can be some people that we'd maybe like to be in friendship and relationship with who are going to kind of keep their distance from us because we're not seeming to be authentic. Like, it can all feel like, living more from the mind than the heart, that people are kind of putting on a show. And that also can be shadowy Leo. Like, I don't think you're being authentic, And let's go look. What's this card? The Nine of Wands. Okay, another way to read this reading. Some people are listening to their intuition. Some people are doing this inner work to reflect on the past and about different decisions they've made and how they sometimes didn't make the best decisions. Other people in their life didn't make some of the best decisions. And when we try to move forward in things, sometimes we put a lot of work and effort to try to make things work that we didn't want to see the truth of, were things we shouldn't have put a lot of work and effort into anyway. And just like we could have done that, other people could have done that. And we've all got these lessons to learn. So I think high vibe people, kind of see the truth of how they're a fallible human being who has lessons to learn, and so are all the other people in the world. And they listen to their intuition about who are the people in my life who I think are being authentic, who are more shadowy or manipulative or immature or superficial, hide that they're more defensive, have these things that manipulate them, and who are the people who I think are more authentic, who are being truthful, who have learned some of these same lessons in life as me, and ultimately want to work with the people who you think are more not repeating some of these poor past patterns, which again, when we were at that age or that stage of life, it was just unfair for us to live our life that way because that's how we viewed life. And it's just unfair for the other people to live their life like that in a way, because that is how they view life and what motivates and inspires them right now. We just need to be listening to our intuition about, well, what's my truth and what's their truth? Am I still at that stage of life and want to live my life like that? Or am I finding it overwhelming and it's time for me to move forward in life a little differently? And I can offer truth and love and encouragement to people in my life, but if that's not their truth, that's not their truth. Just like it wasn't my truth at one point in time. It's like trying to force ourselves to, we can't move ourselves forward and be more comfortable within ourselves, more confident within ourselves, if we're not ready for it. And when we try to move forward, when we really haven't learned what we were needing to learn at that stage of life, it probably won't work out the way we want anyway. But I mean, even if it's like I need to get away from something that I'm trying to move forward or get a different job, well, even if other jobs don't work out, kind of, or you don't really like them, okay, what did I learn from this situation? I know I don't want to go back to an old situation. And that's one thing if it's a job or a friendship. It's another thing, though, if people moved away from people in their life who maybe were being, where there was the opportunity for people to heal and grow and mature themselves, but everybody had their issues. Are we willing to say, maybe I made a mistake? It doesn't mean that we have to get back in a more involved relationship with people, but we're at least willing to, high vibe energy too, and Libra energy can be about taking responsibility just to maybe free yourself from things that overwhelm you, or even how you were overwhelmed at the time, or you were really caught up in this or caught up in that. And I think probably some of the high vibe people have already communicated their truth to people because they want to have like a clear conscience. As I have gone on this journey in life, I've learned these lessons. When I realized some of the things and decisions I was making wasn't the right decision, I could have realized that some of the people, because again, we have these choices, I could have gotten in friendships or relationships or dated certain people or not gotten more friendships or relationships with people or dated people. And as we learn these lessons, we could realize, hey, wait a minute. I think some of those people that I knew at some other time in my life were really people who were more on the same page as me. Well, are we willing to humble ourselves and admit I had some lessons to learn? But that's the thing, you'd have to reveal the truth. And for some people, they don't want to tell the truth that maybe in the past they were more immature or maybe caught up in illusions about things or themselves, or were more whatever it was that they were caught up in, right? And so those people will probably keep moving forward, and it'll maybe even moving forward in things that they shouldn't keep moving forward in because they're unwilling to admit that maybe they made a mistake. And they could hope for the best, but odds are it's probably not going to work out the way they want. If they're not being authentic, being truthful, and there's always people who are never willing to humble themselves or be more authentic, always are more immature, I don't think it's going to work out for them the way they think. Some people think they can keep hiding some issues from their past or not deal with them, even if it's their own pain and heartbreak. And as long as they're like, no, 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 I don't have to deal with it. I don't have to see it. I don't have to acknowledge it. I don't want to see the truth about me. I don't want to see the truth about other people. I can just keep moving forward. Well, they can, but something underneath the surface stops them from being, you have to learn the lesson. That's high vibe Virgo. You have to learn the lesson you're meant to learn from those life experiences, deal with them, see the truth of them, and set them free. If I worked with people in my past who were more superficial and shallow, that were kind of immature, that maybe were kind of not who they said they were, maybe were more superficial and shallow, could I have loved them? Could I have enjoyed a lot of things about the friendship or the relationship or the family dynamic? Yes. But am I willing to see the truth of it and just acknowledge the truth so that, because I think if we don't deal with the truth of it, we'll subconsciously kind of be drawn. We haven't learned the lesson. So we could subconsciously be drawn and attracted to people who could remind us of people from our past because we keep not wanting to deal with the truth of the situation. And if we keep being immature, we'll kind of keep being immature and it probably won't keep working out. If we're more emotionally shallow and superficial and we don't want to see the truth of it, will keep being that way. Other people will keep seeing the truth of it, and other people will keep moving away. When are we going to deal with the truth and drop the burden? If there's people in people's life that they would really like to be in a relationship with, live your authentic life. But some people are like, oh, well, other people in my life don't like them, maybe. And, well, really? Are you going to move? How do you want to live your life? Creating an illusion about who you are? Stay in something that feels overwhelming and isn't aligned with your truth just because it's more important? Some people have friends and family members in their life, live their life a certain way. And those people don't want those people to be more independent, and they're not more independent. And so they live their life like those people live their life, but that's not their truth. But because they're unwilling to be more independent and emotionally detached from a friend or friend group or family group, like original family group or something, to live their more authentic life, they kind of keep living their life like other people, even though that's not the truth. And they're doing things and investing time, energy, and effort into things and making their life about certain things and being in relationships with certain types of people. And some of you already know that about people, that they're not very independent. They're either manipulated by their own issues within themselves, but then in turn, we have people in our life who kind of represent our high vibe nature or our more shadowy nature. And so sometimes we can get mad at other people in the lives of people we're in friendship or relationship with. Like if it wasn't for them, but really, God was just trying to get us to see the truth of something we didn't want to see. People wouldn't align with certain people because, again, we have our dualistic nature and we have all the people in the world who kind of align with our more high vibrational, hopeful, believing, just, fair, emotionally mature, loving nature. And we have people in the world we go hang out with that would be happy if we were in our more shadowy, immature, prideful, stubborn, fearful, codependent nature, right? Or lustful or greedy or whatever, right? God knew some of you were ready to move forward in life differently, and God knew that some of the people in your life weren't. And so it's kind of like God uses those other people to get other people to reveal their truth in a way that they didn't want to reveal, that they were trying to hide. It's like, go get in the relationships with people that are more aligned with your truth at this point in time, or your emotional maturity level, or your viewpoint on life, to set you free. But then we, in our ego, we wanted it to work out the way we wanted to work out. It can seem really hard, and it is hard, to emotionally detach from people that we could have love for. But God was trying to get you to see that with some of those people, your dreams couldn't come into reality with them anyway, because they were hiding the truth of what ultimately drives and motivates them, and it wasn't love. And it wasn't having more hope and faith and belief in themselves. Either they wanted to keep repeating a certain pattern of a way of living life where they maybe never step out of their comfort zone, and that stifles you because that's not your truth, or they are more about the world or about themselves or indulging themselves, but for a long time you didn't want to see it. So then God uses other people that people can align with for you to work through the illusion that they're not really maybe who you thought they were. So you could emotionally detach. And some of you, we are these emotionally complex people. We want these things of the world. We'd like things to work out the way we wanted. We have love for people, but so it can take a time to emotionally detach. And some people have been doing that work within themselves to keep seeing through the illusion, keep believing in themselves, keep moving forward, not wanting to repeat an old pattern. Probably offered truth and love to people in their life who they think are more on the same page, kind of seeing who is more on the same page, who isn't. And you keep moving forward, trusting that Maintaining balance within yourself, living your truth, is the way to find people, and investing your time, energy, and effort into the people who are working with you more cooperatively in a just and fair way, that you're loving and encouraging and supportive to them, they're loving and encouraging and supportive to you. You keep moving forward with those people. And you kind of see who isn't doing that and who is, and you wish them peace, you know? But some of those people, again, your truth isn't their truth. And it can just be in their fire sign energy of self. Again, the first 30, 40 years of our life, if not 50, again, there's all these things of the world that we can make more important in our life. And some people, they just don't even want to do a more deep, meaningful relationship. They don't want to be more authentic. They haven't. And some of them, again, they don't get it. They are kind of more emotionally shallow and superficial in a way where, um, you know, they might not like that you don't seem to make your life more about conforming to the world or living or acting the way they act or something. You're outside their comfort zone. They don't understand why you don't want to live life the way they live it and invest your time and energy and make these certain things more important in your life, like they make it more important in their life. And from a place of love, it's like you have your way of wanting to live life, and that's not my truth. And I've offered truth and love to work with you, to face your fears, to move forward with me. But if that's not your truth, then I accept that. But I can't stay someplace where it seems dead, not going to give birth to anything new, because we want to keep repeating this old pattern because we have fear of change. So what's coming out for people who harness some high vibe Leo energy that they might not see coming? Sometimes more worldly focused people, ego, image, or immature or codependent or something, like to try to get more hopeful, believing, loving people kind of trapped in a relationship with them, even though that's not their truth. And they hope that even when you do find out the truth, because of the status and the image, and you created a relationship, that you won't love and believe in yourself enough, and you'll settle for the illusion once you kind of realize, like, oh wow, it's not really based on love. Or people could work through some things, but then you get to that core foundational truth of, are people willing to be more authentic? And some people are like, no, I'm not coming out from behind the mask. I'm going to hide behind my ego all my life. And it's like, okay, then I can't stay here. What's coming up for the high vibe people they don't see coming? The Page of Wands. Why? Because of the Ace of Swords and the Nine of Swords. And for one, you're freeing yourself to have this new beginning. The Nine of Swords is Gemini energy, which is about our dualistic nature of free will. And it can be really hard because, again, we can have people in our life that we can love and that we could be in relationship with. But at a core foundational level, it's more stay in denial of the truth. Don't be more authentically yourself. Make your life more about them or more about these things of the world, or keep indulging in these things and it'll make you happy. And it was really hard to work through it, but because you wanted to get to the truth, you did this work within yourself. You work through some of your own issues to free yourself so those things didn't manipulate you anymore to the degree that they did. And you kind of freed yourself from the illusion. So you're no longer in a mental prison. You completed the cycle. There's a maximum of 10 in every suit. And you could have had fear about just loving and believing in yourself, or had issues from your past, which can be more caught up in the world, being in more codependent energy, past pain and heartbreak, whatever. Whatever it was, because you were motivated to get to the truth, you did this work within yourself. You worked through your defensive nature to detaching from an old way of viewing life or living life, and maybe just to start trusting and believing in your own inner child, hopeful, believing, loving nature, and listening to your intuition. This is not my truth. I do not think this is, again, everybody can live their life in all these different ways. But I kind of feel overwhelmed continuing to live my life that way because my intuition is telling me maybe it's not aligned with my truth, or there's something not right here. And my intuition is telling me to detach from it. And maybe because it doesn't seem just and fair. Whatever it is, it helped you close out a cycle. And now you're ready to have this new beginning because you also dropped the burden and you kind of wrapped your brain all around it. And now you're going on, moving forward on to the next phase of life authentically. You really are. You have changed. You are not the same person that you were before. Now, there's going to be other people in the world who are going to try to create the illusion that that's who they are also. But some of those people just wanted to look like they're moving forward differently. Like, again, look, I've healed, I've grown, I've matured, I've changed, but they haven't. It's just as you move forward, there's always going to be people in the world who are more shadowy or whatever that want to be the next shadowy person to indulge in a friendship or relationship with you. And you're going to listen to your intuition, maybe communicate with people to get to know them as you're moving forward. And as you listen to your intuition again about who are the people I should kind of keep my distance from, who does my intuition tell me is more authentic, and, I'm going to go on this new journey of more listening to my intuition. There could be people from your past that make you an offer. And, some of those people you would be willing, if your intuition tells you that I think those people have healed, grown, matured, tempered their ego, or whatever it was that manipulated them. I think they're telling the truth. I'm going to work with them. And again, the pages can be, kind of, it is like a new cycle starting over. It's like, it's not going to go back to the way it was because neither of us are those type of people. And same way as some of you could have left something and reached out to some people, those people have to decide if they think you're telling the truth. And, some people don't see the truth of who we are. With some people in your life, you maybe won't see the truth of who they are. You don't want to make that because you're more up in your head or your fear or your ego or anything like that. But, there's a higher power at play. And some people don't see you clearly because God is purposely clouding their judgment. Because God knows what you ultimately want to manifest, and God knows what they want to ultimately manifest. So trust and believe that the divine has a plan for your life, and keep listening to your intuition. Don't take action more out of immaturity, pride, ego, lust, greed, because that is like planting bad seeds and you want to reap a good harvest. You have a dream. So listen to your intuition about who's who, but it looks like, you detach from something back here, you've invested in something new, whether that's a job, a different friendship group, or a different relationship, and you and other people that are not wanting to repeat certain patterns, who are balanced within yourself, who are motivated and inspired by love, are listening to your intuition about the other people in your life to figure out who's who. And I think as you do that, it will transform your whole life, because you did see who you should move away from that was trying to keep you stuck repeating an old pattern. And you'll have a new beginning aligned with being inspired. High Vibe Gemini is inspired by truth and love. Being in relationships with other people who are more focused on truth and love, who take responsibility for maintaining balance within themselves and holding themselves accountable to not repeat old patterns of poor behavior. And again, some people try to create the illusion that's who they are, but then they want to keep repeating those patterns of poor behavior, hoping you won't love and believe in yourself, that you'll indulge them in the illusion that they kind of don't do that. And you're tired of it. It's like, no, I'm going to move forward with people who really aren't interested in repeating some of those poor past patterns or ways of living life. Again, we all could have been, say, in relationships when you're 18 and 21, and the way some people could have acted or interacted in ways they thought were just and fair, and then you're 35 or 45 and you hang out with someone and they kind of do those things. It's like, oh my God, I feel like I'm in high school or college again. No thanks. I am not doing that again, later. And you move on. And some people could be communicating their truth to some people right now. And the people who are trying to create an illusion are putting work and effort to try to create their illusion. Who's being truthful and authentic and making decisions out of truth and love, and who's just trying to create the illusion that they are. And high vibe people aren't worried about it, because they know that the truth comes out in the end. I'm going to live my truth, they can live their truth, and I think it will all come out in the end. And I don't got to worry about it. I'm going to go live my truth. Okay, what's coming up for people who harness the shadowy Leo? 2 cards not showing themselves. Why? Because of the 2 of Wands. In shadow, well, the 2 of Wands is Aries energy. And Aries energy is about the self. So some people in their more shadowy energy, they're still more caught up in themselves or these things of the world. And other people kind of closed out that cycle, and they're more inspired to live their more authentic life in truth and love. And some of the other people, though, they're still kind of caught up in the illusion, or think they're the boss, or think they can get away with being shadowy or hiding the truth and everything will work out fine, or not dealing with these issues that manipulate them and it'll just be fine. What they don't see coming, though, is that whenever they get in relationships with people, they can't control other people and stop other people from growing, healing, and maturing themselves and listening to their intuition. They don't want to change. They have this way of living life and viewing life that they want to continue doing, or again, being more about themselves. And other people listen to their intuition, and the more creative, inspired, hopeful, believing people in their life can get in a relationship with them, trying to bring this like dream into reality. That's the 2 of Wands. The other people harness a more high vibe Aries energy, and they want to bring this dream into reality. And eventually they see it doesn't keep happening. And while the shadowy people reject harnessing this energy in a high vibe way, everybody at a stage of their life could have harnessed this energy in a more worldly, shadowy way. the Tower, and the Seven of Cups. Well, the Tower can be that we didn't want to give up our illusions about how we viewed life. Isn't everybody motivated by love? Doesn't everybody grow and mature themselves? Doesn't everybody want to be more just and fair? And if I love someone and I'm putting in work and effort to work with them in a just and fair way, won't they work together with me that way? Isn't that the way it's supposed to work? We all have a hard time letting go of that illusion, and the Tower's about letting it go. And we can love people, and we can always wish that they would work through their own emotional confusion or their illusions to be more just and fair and loving. And we can stay in that energy for a long time. We can keep being in friendships and relationships with people, putting in a lot of work and effort, not wanting to give up on it. But eventually, the more high vibrational people do. I see the truth. If you are motivated to move forward with me and detach from an old way of living life or viewing life, to move forward and give birth to like something new together, you would do that. And eventually the people in their life kind of work through their own illusions about it. And they kind of realize their dream can't come into reality with them. Because again, Scorpios, let's see, is Scorpio and, no. They harness their Scorpio energy differently. Some people are more emotionally shallow and superficial. Some people are more bossy and controlling and kind of full of themselves. Some of them have these illusions about what it means to be in a relationship. And eventually the other people see the truth. We're not going to give birth to anything new here. You want to keep doing the same old thing over and over and over. And eventually what they don't see coming is that the more high vibrational people in their life are going to eventually be willing to see the truth. And more people in their life are going to see the truth. That some of these people who try to hide the truth and create an illusion about the truth of who they are, and the illusion comes to an end. And then some of these people still unwilling to see the truth, still unwilling to work through whatever it is that they don't want to see the truth of, will feel overwhelmed, but they don't want to be just and fair. They do not want to get more balance within themselves. They keep staying more out of balance, working with their more wanting to stay in denial of the truth. Not wanting to see where they need to heal and grow and mature themselves. Not wanting to see how people in their life could manipulate them, that they're codependent on. How the world at large manipulates them, their fear, their ego, indulging their more immature nature. Whatever it is, they keep not wanting to see it. But other people see how those things are not just or fair, or that they have these things that manipulate them. And shadowy people can hope, well, you should let whatever manipulates me manipulate you. And it's like, but those things don't manipulate me that way. I'm ready to move forward in life differently. And the other people are hiding that they're defensive to freeing themselves from something. If they really shouldn't have gotten in the relationship because they have love for someone else, they keep, shadowy people can use other people and get in a relationship with people to try to overwhelm someone else and manipulate someone else, trying to get that person to come towards them. And if they have, or waiting for, only for as long as the people in their life are okay with the relationship moving forward. But if their friend or family group says, oh, we don't like them anymore, then, oh, sorry, got to end the relationship. Or I was really using you to manipulate someone else. And if that person makes me an offer, sorry, I'm going to end the relationship with you. You know, why aren't we moving forward, giving birth to something new with people? You know, there could even be people in jobs right now that are creating the illusion like, oh, yeah, no, I'm on board with you. Yep, 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 yep. That's where we're going to go. But it never really happens. They seem to be really overwhelmed about something that they never free themselves from. You know, and it can just be people who are like, well, I didn't think I was going to have to put in this much work. You know, I kind of like to have a job and I have these ways of doing things. And usually people kind of indulge me that way at a workplace. And I can get away with it for a really long time. And I'm hoping you will too. Well, some of those people might be shocked when some of the people and their employers tell them, we've seen enough. Nothing ever changes. Apparently, you have a comfort zone of how you like to work. Well, that isn't quite the comfort zone we appreciate. You need to go find a job where you can be in that comfort zone and that those people are okay with it. But we're not, and we're leaving it and leaving you behind or firing you. Then the shadowy people will create an illusion about why that job didn't work out, and they'll go probably repeat the pattern somewhere else. Why do they, you know, you have to be inspired within yourself intrinsically to want to to be inspired to want to work together with people, to have some hope and faith and belief. And, you know, some people are just in the wrong relationship or in the wrong career field. Go get in the career field or go find different people. You know, if you have a certain way of interacting or way of being and you want to hang out with other people who are like that, then try to go find a job where other people are like that. You know, but the truth is some people just don't want to put in much work and effort. How about you put in the work and effort to move it forward and make it stable and grounded and loving and encouraging, and I get to stay back here and kind of not put in much work and effort, but I get to indulge in it with you. And that's again where other people realize I am the one putting in most of the work and effort to make this a just and fair and balanced and loving and encouraging and supportive environment. Well, you don't know if you really want to more invest in it. Well, go not know if you want to go invest in someone else. And I am leaving. There you go, Leo. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.